In this example, we're going to set up an assignment with a rubric. First thing we're going to do is we're going to enter one of the topic areas, and then we're going to have to turn editing on. To do this, click at the cog in the top right hand corner and then select Turn Editing On. The screen will reload and then you'll see buttons which will allow you to edit certain things. We're going to click on Add an Activity or Resource. From the menu that appears, you'll see Assignment is at the top, so we're going to click on Assignment and then select the Add button. Once we've done that, we're going to then give the assignment a name. Underneath, you can give the assignment a description. This is where your task will go. Now I'm going to use an example that Mr. Reese has already made, which is a speed distance time graph. This task has an image and it has success criteria. So the first thing we're going to need to do is we need to save this image. Now the way we do that is going to be different in every piece of software, but on Word I'm going to right click, Save as Picture, and then I'm going to save it into my pictures here. I'm then going to save the type as a JPEG, as a JPEG will be very small. Once you've done that, select the Save button. Now the next thing we need to do is add the image into our assignment drop. Now to do this, it's very easy. What we're going to do is open our Pictures folder, and I'm going to have it as a floating window like this, and I'm going to click on the speed distance time image, hold down, drag it and just leave it go. This puts it in to our assignment drop. As you can see, it's quite large, so we're going to resize it. We're going to make it smaller. To do this, click on it and then click the Image Edit button. If you click on that, a new pop-up will appear. And then what you can do is you can manually resize it using the numbers here. So obviously this is 1400, we need to make it smaller. I'm going to go with another item, something like 600. And when I've clicked on that, as soon as I click away, you can see the other part of the box is resized for me. So I can click on Save Image and then it'll readjust my image to be a little bit smaller. Now when we click on the right hand side of the image, I can press the return key and you can see the cursor has gone down a few lines. This is exactly the same as what we would do in Word. We're now going to copy in the success criteria. So I'm going to just highlight my words and then go copy, and then I'm just going to paste it in here. And as you can see, the success criteria has come over. We can then use the text editing tools to highlight, make things bold, maybe make things underlined or italic, just to make sure that it's more readable for the pupils. If you need to add bullet points, then the options are also there as well. As we scroll down, you'll see there's a few settings here. You can set cutoff dates to when you want the assignment to be due by, and you can also have a reminder sent to you by email. With the due dates, you can either enable or disable them by clicking on the checkbox, as you can see on the screen. If you add the due date in, it'll send the pupils a reminder when the assignment is also due. Next, we're going to select the submission type. In our example, all we want is the pupils to type an answer in, so we don't actually need a file submission, so we're going to turn that off, and we're going to just have the online text editor there. Once we've done that, just simply click on the box and you'll be away to go. If you need to put a word limit in, just enable the word limit. The next thing we need to look at is the option for grading. We're going to change the maximum grade, as we've got 5 success criteria points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, we got 5 success criteria points. Therefore, this is going to be graded out of 5 marks. You can change this to be whatever you want. We're adding a rubric in, so we need to change the grading method to rubric. And then once you've done that, we can then scroll down and continue on. You're then going to click on Save and Display, and then we're going to be presented with the rubric tool. We're now going to start to create the rubric. To do this, click on the Define a New Grading Form from Scratch, and then give it a name. The names need to be unique, so in this one I'm using Science, Speed, Distance, Time. You don't have to put a description in here, but then underneath you can then start building the rubric. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy some of the text in from my success criteria and then put it as a criterion in my rubric. So if I click in the criterion, paste that in, every level has to have a point allocation to it. So as an example, an EBI will be 0 points, and a what went well would be 1 point. If you wanted to do anything else after that, you can, and if you don't need it, just click the X to remove it. A confirmation box will appear. To add more criterion, click on the Add Criterion button below, and then you can just keep on adding new criterion in. Now that our rubric is set, we need to do one or two more things. These are settings which you can change. So we want to have a minimum score, that's fine. If you want to allow pupils to preview the rubric so they can see the success criteria, you can leave this setting on. You will need to leave this setting on when you're evaluating work, and you might need to leave this setting on here for those grading the work. To display points, you might not necessarily want that on, so I can take that out and take that out. You do have an option to leave text remarks next to each rubric, but we're not going to need that on this one because we're going to put any text remarks in a feedback box underneath. So we're going to untick these last two. Once complete, click on Save and make it ready. And your assessment is ready to be used. So we're now just going to look really quickly what the pupil is going to see when they go to submit something. So when they click on the assessment that you've put, they will see the question. They'll also see the success criteria. These options here will change colour after they have submitted and once they've received a grade, and this is the rubric that they will see. So obviously the criterions there will be going down on the left hand side, and they will see the EBI and the WWW, and if you've put anything else inside these, then they'll just follow on underneath. Just under that they'll have an add submission, and then when they click on that, again they're shown the question with the success criteria, and then underneath they can type their answer directly in, and once they've completed their answer they can click on Save Changes, and then it'll send the answer in for marking. So that's how you set up a assignment drop with a rubric, and this is what the pupil will see when they go to submit.